Hello everyone, welcome to GLens Travel, a lens traveling across the world and your second pair of eyes to explore the beauty of our planet. Earth is a mysterious planet where every land carries its own beauty and story. In today's journey, we will explore some of the most unusual and impressive landscapes in the world. We begin with harsh deserts, where the ground seems to burn for years, such as Veria in Iceland, El Tatio, and Mount Chimera, places where fire and heat seem to never fade away. Next, we travel to some of the most colorful landscapes on Earth, including Red Beach, Simpson Desert, and Spotted Lake, where the land and water create stunning natural colors that look almost like a painting. But the journey does not stop there. Ahead lie vast lakes, mighty rivers, and finally towering mountain ranges reaching high into the sky. Stay until the end of the video to discover the full beauty and surprising wonders that nature has created on this planet. Veria, Iceland. The geothermal area at the base of Mount Namafjall in northern Iceland is renowned for its landscape, where minerals color the ground with surreal hues. No vegetation grows here. The heat, acid, and gases render the landscape entirely barren. From the cracks, stark white plumes of steam rise, visible from a distance. The ground is constantly bubbling with pools of water that seem to boil incessantly. El Tatio, Chile. Situated in northern Chile in the heart of the Atacama Desert, El Tatio ranks as the world's third largest geothermal field and the highest in altitude. At sunrise, icy temperatures collide with boiling water, sending massive plumes of white steam into the air. Superheated water from subterranean magma systems bursts upward, creating geysers, steaming vents, and bubbling pools. The site hosts approximately 85 active geysers, representing about 8% of Earth's total. Mount Chimera, Turkey, a legendary spot on Turkey's Antalya Peninsula, is famous for its eternal flames that have been burning out of the rocks day and night for thousands of years. These small, flickering fires on the hillside aren't magic. They are caused by methane gas constantly seeping up from deep underground. When this gas hits oxygen at the surface, it spontaneously ignites, creating flames that simply never go out. During the daytime, The fires appear as tiny dancing specks of light, scattered by the wind. However, at night, they transform into a truly mesmerizing spectacle, brilliantly illuminating the entire area. Zhangye National Park is totally famous for its unbelievable multicolored mountains. It's a prime example of what they call Danxia formations. Basically, these unique landscapes made of red sandstone rock. Ancient Chinese poets described it as an ocean of solidified flames, back when nobody really knew how it formed. The hills literally roll and ripple like smooth waves, with gentle slopes and sharp ridges stretching out like giant ribbons of color. Why all the color? It's chemistry. The red comes from oxidized iron, the green from copper minerals, the yellow from sulfur compounds, and the gray is just from clay mixtures. Capitol Reef National Park in Utah stands out for its dramatic red cliffs, light-colored rock masses, and remarkable folded geological structures. The Fremont River cuts across the park from east to west, forming a ribbon of greenery within the surrounding desert. Over time, wind and flowing water have uncovered rock layers ranging from the Permian to the Cretaceous eras, preserving a geological record that spans about 200 million years. The deep red hues originate from iron oxide in the stone, while irregular erosion has sculpted the cliffs and ridges. To the north, rolling hills of bentonite developed from ancient volcanic ash, altered through long-term chemical processes. Their clay-rich surfaces are smooth and rounded due to rapid erosion. Color variations depend on moisture levels, bluish-gray when dry, shifting to green or red according to minerals like iron, manganese, or calcium. Imagine a landscape in Liaoning Province, where the entire coast glows in stunning shades of crimson. That's the magic of the red beach. This isn't just a picturesque spot, it's the largest salt marsh wetland on Earth, providing a vital sanctuary for hundreds of different bird species. The secret behind this intense color is a specific plant called Suaeda salsa. This tough species absolutely thrives in saline or salty soils. As autumn arrives, it undergoes a dramatic transformation, turning a breathtaking deep red. What makes Panjin truly special is that nowhere else on the planet does this plant cover such immense areas or display such an unbelievably vibrant red hue? It's a coastal phenomenon you truly have to see to believe. Simpson Desert, Australia. Located in the heart of Australia, this unforgiving landscape is recognized as the world's largest desert of parallel sand dunes. Its remoteness and severe climate meant it remained unexplored longer than most regions of the country. The desert contains the largest linear dune network on Earth, where red sand ridges extend for nearly 200 kilometers. Their striking color is caused by iron oxide, shining intensely during dawn and dusk. Located near Osoyoos in British Columbia's Okanagan Valley, Spotted Lake is considered one of the most unusual mineral lakes in the world. During summer, evaporation separates the water into hundreds of circular pools, each rich in magnesium sulfate, calcium, and sodium, creating distinct colors from green to yellow and white. Mineral concentrations can reach over 400 grams per liter, making the water far denser than typical freshwater lakes. The lake surface hardens under heat, releasing a sharp mineral scent, while the pools shimmer under intense sunlight. For centuries, indigenous Syilx people have regarded the lake as sacred, using its mineral mud for healing purposes. Spotted Lake is not only visually striking, but a rare natural record of chemistry, climate, and cultural reverence. Danakil Desert, Ethiopia. Located within the Afar Depression, this desert lies where three tectonic plates gradually separate. It ranks among the planet's harshest, yet most captivating environments, shaped by geology that feels truly otherworldly. Nicknamed the Gateway to Hell, Danakil is marked by extreme temperatures, ongoing volcanic forces, and landscapes unlike anywhere else. At Dalol, mineral-rich water emerges from beneath the ground. The intense heat causes it to evaporate almost instantly, forming solid salt crusts and striking multicolored mineral pools. Jericho Aquara is a small coastal village in Ceará State, northeastern Brazil. Its scenery blends desert-like terrain with the ocean, shifting sand dunes, and turquoise lagoons. Vast white dunes rise beside the sea, evoking the feel of the Sahara. From May to September, the rainy season fills low areas between the dunes with fresh water, creating clear, shimmering lagoons. With steady winds blowing most of the year, Jericoacoara is widely known as Brazil's windsurfing and kite surfing capital. The Sea of Blue Tears is a mesmerizing bioluminescent phenomenon that occurs along the coast of Pingtan, Fujian province. This spectacle is caused by tiny marine organisms called dinoflagellates. These organisms thrive in warm, calm, and nutrient-rich waters. When agitated, each cell emits a brilliant blue flash of light. This effect is multiplied millions of times, brightly illuminating the entire coastline. Pingtan is one of the few places on Earth where this stunning natural display can be regularly observed without the need for specialized equipment. Molnar János Cave, Budapest, Hungary. This fascinating underwater cave system lies beneath Budapest, offering a unique site for diving and exploration. Over millennia, infiltrating thermal water created a complex, submerged labyrinth of tunnels and chambers filled with warm water. Though known since the 19th century, serious exploration began in the 1950s, and new passages are still being discovered today. Hukou Waterfall, China. This is the largest waterfall on the Yellow River and the second largest in China. The water has a muddy yellow color because it carries a large amount of silt. Typically, the Yellow River is wide, but at Hukou, it suddenly narrows. When constricted, the water rushes through a natural funnel, achieving remarkable speed and power. The descending flow is not just water, but a dense mixture of silt, clay, and sand, which intensifies the waterfall's force. Hengifoss Waterfall is a prominent natural wonder, making a powerful impression due to the dramatic contrast on its rock walls. The cliff face of the falls features a unique structure. Layers of black basalt are interspersed with striking bands of vivid red volcanic clay. The waterfall flows from the Hengifoss River, originating in the volcanic highlands. This cliff structure was formed approximately 5 million years ago through a series of continuous volcanic eruptions. Between these lava flows, iron-rich sediments and clay accumulated, later turning a vibrant red due to oxidation, creating the distinctive beauty seen today. Canaima, Venezuela, situated in the Guyana highlands of Venezuela, this park rests upon one of Earth's most ancient geological structures, dating back nearly 2 billion years. Strong rivers carve their way through the protected land, creating lagoons shaded in red and gold from rich mineral and tannin content. The landscape resembles a forgotten world, where expansive green jungles are broken apart by monumental rock plateaus rising like natural strongholds. These tepuis are defined by steep vertical walls and flat tops, appearing like colossal tables floating above the forest canopy. Their cliffs seem so precisely shaped that they look almost artificial. From these summits emerge rivers and waterfalls, most famously Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall on Earth. For millions of years, water has poured from its peak, following erosion that fractured the plateau into deep cracks and canyons. The cascade drops from the tepui's edge, dispersing into mist and fine spray as it falls. Dahab, Blue Hole, Egypt. One of the ocean's remarkable natural gems is found in the northern Red Sea, within the Gulf of Aqaba. This underwater sinkhole features steep walls covered with coral, providing a habitat for tropical fish, sponges, and diverse marine species. It was created when an underground cavern collapsed, forming a deep cavity that later filled with seawater and became connected to the open sea. Today, it attracts divers from around the world who are drawn by its reputation for extreme diving challenges. Detwa Lagoon, Yemen. Set on Socotra Island in the Indian Ocean, this place is renowned for its exceptional rarity, earning the nickname Earth's Alien Island. A tropical dry climate shaped by monsoon winds produces dramatic contrasts, with vibrant greenery in the rainy season and stark desert scenery for much of the year. Separated from Africa, millions of years ago, the island's long isolation allowed unique species to evolve. Along the shoreline rests Detwa Lagoon, a turquoise expanse bordered by white sand. Golden sandbars reach into the water like painted strokes, creating curves and spirals that change with each tide. Death Valley, United States. Situated in southeastern California's Mojave Desert, Death Valley is famous for its intense heat, extreme dryness, and status as one of North America's lowest regions. Its scenery varies greatly. The Eureka Dunes rise like a vast golden ocean, framed by dark mountain ranges. As the highest dunes in California, their isolation keeps the area silent and seldom visited. Another notable location is Badwater Basin, a vast white salt flat marked by deep cracks. Its lowest point reaches 86 meters, or 282 feet, below sea level, the lowest elevation on the continent. The ground displays geometric salt patterns created by repeated expansion and contraction under strong sunlight. In the northwest lies Racetrack Playa, a dry lakebed of hard, cracked mud bordered by barren peaks. Here, heavy stones, some weighing up to 300 kilograms, seem to move on their own, leaving long trails. This long-standing mystery was solved when scientists found that thin ice sheets and wind allow the rocks to slide. Another dramatic site, the Devil's Golf Course, features jagged salt formations fractured into sharp, uneven spires. The surface is extremely rough and dangerous to cross, with salt blocks as hard as concrete and as sharp as glass. Deadvlei is a surreal white clay pan hidden within Namibia's Namib Desert, famous for its ancient blackened camel thorn trees standing against towering red dunes. The trees, estimated to be over 600 to 900 years old, died when shifting dunes cut off the Tsochab River, yet the extreme aridity has prevented them from decomposing. Surrounding the pan-rise sand dunes, reaching about 325 meters, among the highest dunes on Earth, creating a striking contrast of white, black, and deep rust red. Daytime temperatures can exceed 45 degrees Celsius, and the dry air carries the faint mineral scent of heated clay and sand. The silence is broken only by wind brushing across the dunes, making every footstep feel amplified. Deadvlei feels less like a landscape and more like a frozen moment in geological time, where heat, light, and stillness define the experience. Phong Nha, Ca Bang National Park, Vietnam. This remarkable geological landscape is home to a vast network of caves that developed roughly 400 million years ago. The tranquil blue waters of the Sun River pass straight through the primary entrance. Beyond it, immense limestone halls unfold. Soaring stalactites, stalagmites, and colossal rock pillars emerged at the meeting point of ancient water currents. Mount Kelimutu, Indonesia. Situated at the center of Flores Island, this volcano, blanketed in dense forest, features 3 crater lakes whose colors transform over time. Their hues range from vivid turquoise to emerald, dark black, brown, red, and sometimes a pale, milky white. These shifts are caused by chemical reactions between volcanic minerals, heat, and gases emerging from deep inside the volcano. Local folklore believes the lakes serve as spiritual destinations after death, one for the souls of the old, one for the young, and a third for those who led immoral lives. The name Geologcal translates as 9 Villages Valley, honoring the Tibetan settlements that once thrived here. This region is blanketed by primeval forests that transform strikingly throughout the year. During autumn, foliage shifts to shades of red, orange, and gold, forming a stunning contrast against the crystal-clear turquoise lakes. At this time, Nuorilang waterfall becomes a focal point, surrounded by forests painted in autumn colors. In the Tibetan language, the name conveys a sense of majesty and strength, symbolizing its commanding presence. In a lake, Myanmar. Encircled by mountain ranges, this freshwater lake is inhabited by the Intha people, a community famous for its water-oriented culture and distinctive daily practices. Thanks to its elevated location, the lake maintains a cool climate and fertile environment, making it an ideal place for settlement. Over many generations, the Intha gradually moved into this region and developed a lifestyle perfectly suited to living on water. Thousands of inhabitants reside in houses built on stilts, with transportation relying entirely on narrow boat routes instead of roads. Around 20 villages exist directly on the lake, complete with temples, residences, and schools. Extensive areas are occupied by floating gardens, where locals cultivate tomatoes, cucumbers, flowers, and various other crops. One of the most iconic scenes is that of Intha fishermen, propelling their boats by wrapping one leg around the oar while balancing on the other, a rare fishing method found only here. Bay of Fires, Australia. Along Tasmania's northeastern coast, striking red granite boulders glow in the sunlight, making the shoreline look as if it's burning. While today the name Bay of Fires is linked to these fiery colors, it was first recorded in 1773 after sailors spotted Aboriginal campfires from offshore. The coastline's huge granite masses were formed through tectonic activity millions of years in the past. Their intense red coloring comes not from the stone itself, but from lichens that flourish across the rocks in the damp ocean climate. Caño Cristales, Colombia. Famous as the five-colored river, or a flowing rainbow, this river becomes vividly multicolored in the rainy season. Its bed glows with red, green, yellow, blue, and black tones. The spectacle comes from Macarinia clavigera, a water plant that blooms when the balance of water depth and sunlight supports its growth. Sumidero Canyon, Mexico. Formed by the Grijalva River, this canyon is one of the most monumental in the world. Few canyons boast such high, vertical walls in such a short span. To ancient peoples, it was sacred. Legend tells that local warriors leapt from its cliffs to avoid Spanish conquest. The canyon's vegetation thrives thanks to a unique microclimate created by the river, which brings cool, humid air that nourishes the surrounding jungle. Ninh Bình, Vietnam, often called the inland Ha Long Bay. This region is famed for its dramatic limestone peaks rising between rice fields and winding rivers. The Sao Khe River, also known as Trang An, snakes through the valleys and mountains. The landscape formed under a humid tropical climate, where acid rain gradually dissolved the rock over time. Natural caves and tunnels connect hidden lagoons within the mountains. One of the main attractions is Hang Mua, or Dancing Cave. Reaching its lookout requires climbing hundreds of steps carved into the hillside. From the top, visitors can admire the river's graceful curves flowing among rice paddies and limestone cliffs. Rock Islands, Palau. Rising from clear turquoise waters, hundreds of jungle-clad islets create one of the Pacific's most striking seascapes. More than 250 islands are officially counted, though tides and classification methods can change that figure. Over centuries, waves carved the limestone into mushroom-shaped islands, featuring broad crowns supported by slender bases. Among them lies the renowned Jellyfish Lake, where millions of harmless jellyfish glide gently through the water with visitors. Close by, the German Channel, an artificial canal built during the early 20th century, has transformed into a vibrant marine corridor, enriched by currents that draw together an exceptional range of marine species. Rio do Fogo, Brazil. The name do Fogo, meaning of fire, comes from old legends describing glowing lights in the water caused by marine bioluminescence. As the river reaches the coast, it divides into winding channels that draw dark, sinuous lines across the sandy shore. Its deep coloration results from sediments and organic material carried from inland areas. Offshore, coral reefs emerge at low tide, trapping seawater between coral and rock and creating expansive, crystal-clear, natural pools. Rio do Fogo belongs to Brazil's reef system, the third largest in the world, after Australia's Great Barrier Reef and the Mesoamerican Reef. Lake Toba, Indonesia, stands as the world's largest volcanic lake, occupying the immense caldera left by a super eruption approximately 74,000 years ago. This catastrophic event hurled enormous volumes of ash across Southeast Asia and triggered long-lasting changes to the global climate. Many scientists believe the eruption led to a significant cooling period that lasted nearly 10 years, placing early human survival under extreme pressure. Rising from the lake's center is Samosir Island, formed when volcanic forces pushed the land upward. Home to the Batak people, the island and lake are deeply revered as sacred landscapes. Samosir ranks among the largest lake islands on Earth, smaller than Singapore, yet larger than Andorra. The Mariana Trench is the deepest known location in Earth's oceans, situated in the Western Pacific, hidden beneath extreme and mysterious conditions. At maximum depth, pressure rises above 1,100 atmospheres, powerful enough to destroy any unprotected human-made structure. Sunlight scarcely penetrates these depths, leaving the area in constant darkness. Scientists examine the trench as a reference for understanding how life could exist on the frozen moons of Jupiter and Saturn. This region experiences intense tectonic forces, with frequent earthquakes and underwater volcanic eruptions. Despite the harsh and hostile environment, remarkable life forms manage to survive. These organisms endure conditions that would be fatal to most other living beings. One example is a strange deep-sea fish from the Ophidiidae family, typically known for its solitary behavior. Elsewhere in the Pacific Ocean, unusual colonies of glass sponges can be found. Their strange shapes inspired scientists to call them the forest of the strange. Many abyssal species generate their own light as an adaptation to complete darkness. Another species, the glass squid Tyonius borealis, possesses a semi-transparent body that offers excellent camouflage. Its soft, gelatinous body, oversized head, and huge eyes are perfectly suited to the pitch-black depths of the sea. Alcantara Gorge, Italy. On Sicily Island, the Alcantara River stands out for the striking canyon shapes sculpted along its course. Roughly 8,000 years ago, Mount Etna's lava blanketed the valley, and the river later cut a fresh route as it moved toward the coast, slicing through solidified lava. During summer, travelers step into the freezing stream, enjoying its crisp chill despite the scorching sun. New Caledonia, France. Situated in the southwestern Pacific, off Australia's coastline, this French territory is known for its enormous lagoon, sheltered by coral reefs. To the east, the New Hebrides Trench marks where the Indo-Australian Plate descends beneath the Pacific Plate, creating intense pressure within the Earth's crust that eventually leads to fracturing. The region supports a rich range of distinctive flora and fauna. East of the main island lies the Isle of Pines, named after the many towering Araucaria pines that dominate its landscape. This area is also inhabited by the giant gecko, Rhacodactylus leachianus, recognized as one of the world's largest gecko species. Ojos de Mar, Argentina. Hidden among the vast salt flats of Tola Grande, these striking lagoons glow with turquoise and deep blue tones. They are home to ancient stromatolites, microorganisms resembling some of Earth's earliest life forms from 3.5 billion years ago, vital to the rise of oxygen and biological evolution. The lagoons emerged after the Salaz salt surface collapsed, forming sinkholes later filled by underground water. Their harsh setting, high elevation and intense salinity has turned Ojos de Mar into a natural testing ground for astrobiologists studying environments similar to Mars. Son Doong Cave in Vietnam proudly holds the title of the largest cave on Earth discovered to date. Explorers estimate that its interior is vast enough to house an entire complex, including 40-story skyscrapers. The legendary entrance was first found in 1991 by a local farmer named Ho Khan, who was simply seeking shelter in the forest. However, the cave wasn't officially recognized by the scientific community until 2009. One of Son Doong's most breathtaking features is the Garden of Eden. This is a secret tropical jungle ecosystem that formed after the cave's roof collapsed, allowing sunlight to stream directly inside. This event created a unique environment, providing the perfect conditions for tropical plants to thrive deep underground. Located in Chenzhou, this area is a breathtaking destination, renowned for its magical winding trails that snake along narrow mountain ridges. Gaoyiling is often compared to a giant red wave sea that has been petrified, where this magnificent geological landscape is the result of transformative processes spanning 20 million years. Although the exploration routes are generally considered safe for visitors, certain narrow and steep sections lack protective railings, demanding absolute caution when traversing them. Once a little-known secret, Gaoyiling suddenly surged in popularity after stunning photographs of the area went viral on social media, quickly turning it into a highly sought-after tourist destination. Tiger Leaping Gorge, China. Rising mountains press tightly against the river here, creating one of the deepest gorges on Earth. Over millions of years, the Jinsha River cut relentlessly through the rock, shaping this dramatic landscape. As the powerful flow is squeezed into a narrow channel, the water turns fierce and chaotic. Local legend tells of a tiger that evaded a hunter by jumping across the gorge, a story remembered today by the landmark known as the Tiger Leaping Rock. Rio Tinto, Spain. Situated in Spain's Huelva province, this area is renowned for its striking crimson waters and highly acidic conditions that prevent most forms of life from surviving. The river is rich in iron, copper, and zinc, released through mineral breakdown from ancient mining activities that date back over 5,000 years. In many sections, the riverbanks appear lifeless, marked by exposed mineral layers and metallic traces. The microbes living here endure environments comparable to Mars, which has drawn strong scientific interest from NASA. The Katsky Pillar, a massive stone column, towers above the Katskura Valley with an imposing presence. Over the centuries, erosion wore away the surrounding rock, but this monumental block endured thanks to its sheer strength. Perched atop its flat summit are a medieval church and a hermitage that appear to float in the sky. Following the fall of the Soviet Union in 1993, Orthodox monk Maxim Kavtaradze ascended the pillar. He lived a life of solitude and austerity there for 20 years. Surreal Monastery, Turkey. Nestled within a dramatic vertical cliff, this Orthodox monastery honors the Virgin Mary. The structure uses stone quarried from the same mountainside, creating a natural harmony with the rock face. According to tradition, 2 Greek monks founded the monastery in 386 AD after discovering a sacred icon of the Virgin Mary hidden in a cave. Mount Popa, an extinct volcano in central Myanmar. Towers over surrounding woodlands and was formed by volcanic activity roughly 250,000 years ago. Crowning its summit is the Tong Kalat Monastery, where gilded temples and pagodas shine above clusters of humble homes below. The mountain is revered as the sacred homeland of the Nats, or protective spirits, in Burmese tradition, and continues to draw pilgrims from across the country. Located in Gwiju Province, these geological formations are renowned for their striking similarity to the ancient pyramids of Egypt. While some theories suggest they were man-made, geologists have unanimously concluded that these are natural structures formed by geological processes approximately 200 million years ago. The autumn season. This is when the scenery transforms, with foliage turning a vibrant golden yellow and deep red, creating a spectacular and particularly appealing landscape for visitors. Local authorities have identified at least 15 pyramids and are moving forward with the development of observation centers and tourist sites. Nevertheless, the residents of Gwiju continue to tell stories of a lost civilization, adding an air of mystery that permeates the entire area. Lena, Russia. Beginning in the Baikal mountain range of southern Siberia, the Lena River travels north to the Arctic Ocean, cutting through an isolated and icy wilderness. Its right bank is marked by striking sheer cliffs composed of limestone, dolomite, and shale. These formations emerged roughly 500 million years ago during the early Cambrian, when shallow seas covered the area. Harsh Siberian conditions, intense cold in winter and milder summers, have cracked the rock over time through freezing and thawing, sculpting impressive stone columns and jagged pinnacles. In autumn, golden forests reflect on the calm water, turning the riverbanks into a quiet, poetic landscape. During the melting snow season, ice breaks apart and the river awakens, carrying powerful currents toward the Arctic. Manpupuner stone pillars, Russia. 7 towering rock giants stand isolated in the remote wilderness of the northern Ural Range. Celebrated as one of Russia's 7 wonders, these rare formations resemble human silhouettes or legendary giants. Surrounded by taiga and tundra, the region endures severe winters and challenging, inaccessible landscapes. Over millions of years, erosion stripped away weaker rock, preserving these massive, enduring stone pillars. Anjihai Canyon, China. Shaped by the continuous erosion of the Anjihai River for millennia, the canyon exposes dramatic cliffs marked by striking color bands. Riverborne sediments formed red layers infused with iron minerals. Although the canyon is geologically ancient, it became well known only recently when aerial images went viral on social networks. Tugela Falls, South Africa. For a long period, Tugela Falls was believed to be the highest waterfall on Earth, before more accurate surveys of Venezuela's Angel Falls moved it to second place. The waterfall flows from the basalt walls of the amphitheater, a vast and dramatic landform shaped by volcanic eruptions roughly 180 million years ago. Its name comes from the Zulu term thukela, which translates to sudden or surprising, reflecting the intense surge of water seen during the rainy months. Pingshan Grand Canyon, China. Celebrated as a natural highlight of Hubei, this canyon leaves a strong impression with its sheer rock walls and the forceful river flowing along its base. Over millions of years, the Jinsha River gradually carved the canyon, cutting through rock layers created by the uplift of the Himalayas and tectonic activity linked to the Tibetan region. In several spots, the passage tightens dramatically, allowing only one boat to move through at a time. Jawatan Forest is renowned for its magical, almost otherworldly atmosphere, often compared to scenes from epic fantasy films. The forest is dominated by countless giant, ancient tamarind trees, their trunks thickly draped in moss and vines. Originally planted during the Dutch colonial era, these trees have evolved over time into a sprawling forest that now exudes a perfectly natural and untamed beauty. Capitol Reef National Park in Utah, United States, is not only a dry desert region, but also features distinct green areas. Along the Fremont River and in lower valleys, trees and vegetation thrive, forming vivid green bands against the red rock backdrop. The park is renowned for the nearly 160-kilometer-long water pocket fold geological structure, its multicolored cliffs and rock layers over 200 million years old, reflecting Earth's long tectonic history. Algar do Carvão, Portugal. Approximately 2,000 years ago, molten lava burst out during a volcanic eruption, creating an empty vertical shaft. Over thousands of years, water and natural processes sculpted this space into a volcanic conduit. The passage descends into a deep blue abyss where ferns, mosses, and lichens thrive on the damp volcanic walls. Ciudad Encantada, Cuenca, Spain. Regarded as one of Spain's and Europe's most extraordinary geological sites, this stone forest appears straight out of a mythical tale. The name Enchanted comes from ancient shepherds who believed spirits dwelled within the rocks. Massive limestone formations take on bizarre shapes, echoing animals, tools, and man-made structures. The terrain began as a shallow sea around 90 million years ago, where limestone settled, later carved over time by water, ice, and wind. Mount Yasur, Vanuatu. Rising on Tanna Island, Mount Yasur is known for being easy to reach and for erupting almost continuously. It is among the rare volcanoes where travelers can stand at the crater's edge and watch eruptions with their own eyes. Ash clouds, flames, and streams of lava combine into a striking display of nature. Putangarua Pinnacles, New Zealand. While New Zealand is widely associated with verdant mountains, this region reveals a starkly arid and barren scenery. The landscape is ever shifting, representing just one frozen instant in Earth's immense geological story. It has gained worldwide recognition, both for its dramatic stone pillars and for its role as a filming location in movies like The Return of the King. Anaga Rural Park, Spain. Situated in northeastern Tenerife, this ancient laurel forest is a green, mist-filled survivor from the Tertiary era. Its altitude and closeness to the Atlantic generate a constant sea of clouds, preserving the moisture that allows Laura Silva Forest to flourish. These woodlands are living relics, traces of vegetation that once blanketed the Mediterranean region around 20 million years ago, long before the Ice Ages. Along Anaga's northern shoreline, verdant hillsides plunge steeply into the Atlantic, forming a dramatic natural contrast. Shimmering like scattered gemstones in the desert, Emerald Lake in Dachiden is one of Western China's most surreal landscapes. Located in Haixi Prefecture of Qinghai Province, the lake is part of a former salt mining area on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. Its brilliant shades of turquoise and jade come from high concentrations of minerals in the shallow water. Separated into dozens of small pools, each basin reflects sunlight, differently creating a mosaic of vivid color against the arid earth. The surrounding terrain is stark and windswept, intensifying the contrast between desert tones and luminous water. In recent years, it has become a popular destination for photographers drawn to its otherworldly appearance. As you walk along the edges of these crystalline pools under the vast plateau sky, the landscape feels almost like a painting brought to life. Along the Tarim River in Xinjiang lies one of the world's largest natural forests of desert poplar trees. Known as the Tarim populous forest, it is dominated by Populus euphratica, a species uniquely adapted to survive in extreme desert conditions. These resilient trees endure scorching summers, freezing winters, and saline soil. In autumn, their leaves turn brilliant gold, creating a luminous contrast against the surrounding sands of the Taklamakan Desert. The forest forms a rare ecological corridor, protecting biodiversity and stabilizing fragile desert ecosystems. Visitors often come during fall, to witness the striking transformation of color across the arid landscape. Standing among the golden poplars beside the quiet river, the scene reflects both endurance and unexpected beauty in one of China's harshest environments. Dongchuan Redland is a striking rural landscape located northeast of Kunming in Yunnan province. Famous for its deep crimson soil, the area is often compared to a natural oil painting spread across rolling hills. The red color comes from iron-rich clay, oxidized over time, creating vivid contrasts against green crops and blue skies. Sunrise and sunset are the most dramatic moments when warm light intensifies the landscape's bold tones. Though remote, it has become a favored destination for photographers seeking powerful color compositions. Standing atop the hills, watching the layers of red earth unfold into the horizon, the scenery feels vibrant and alive. High in the mountains of western Sichuan lies Larunga, one of the largest Tibetan Buddhist monastic settlements in the world. Founded in 1980, it grew rapidly into a vast spiritual community of monks and nuns devoted to study and meditation. From above, thousands of small, red wooden houses cascade across the hillsides, forming a striking pattern against the rugged terrain. At its heart stands the Larunga Buddhist Academy, a major center for advanced Buddhist scholarship. Life here follows a disciplined rhythm of prayer study and contemplation amid the high-altitude climate. Despite periods of restructuring and change, it remains a powerful symbol of Tibetan spiritual culture. As you gaze across the valley, filled with crimson dwellings under the vast sky, the scene feels both humbling and profound. Chagan Lake, located in Jilin province, is one of China's largest freshwater lakes in the northeast. It is especially famous for its centuries-old winter fishing tradition practiced by local communities. Each year, when the lake freezes over, fishermen drill holes through the thick ice and haul massive nets beneath the frozen surface. The contrast between snow-covered plains and the intense activity on the ice creates a powerful visual scene. This spectacle has evolved into the Chagan Lake Winter Fishing Festival, drawing visitors from across the country. Standing on the frozen lake, amid the crisp northern air, the vast white horizon feels both dramatic and timeless. Pingtan Island is the largest island in Fujian province, set along the southeastern coast of China. Facing the Taiwan Strait, it is known for its strong coastal winds, open horizons, and expansive sandy beaches. Rows of wind turbines line parts of the shoreline, giving the island a distinctive blend of nature and renewable energy. Granite rock formations and fishing villages reflect a maritime culture shaped by centuries of ocean life. In certain seasons, the waters glow with bioluminescent plankton, often called blue tears, creating a magical nighttime spectacle. As infrastructure improves, the island has become an emerging destination for ecotourism and coastal retreats. Standing on the shore at dusk, with waves rolling in beneath towering turbines and a wide open sky, the atmosphere feels both peaceful and expansive. The Taklamakan Desert is one of the largest shifting sand deserts in the world, stretching across southern Xinjiang. Covering more than 330,000 square kilometers, it forms the heart of the Tarim Basin. Its name is often interpreted as place of no return, reflecting its harsh and unforgiving environment. Towering sand dunes, some rising over 300 meters, dominate the landscape. Rainfall is extremely scarce, and temperatures range from scorching summer heat to freezing winter nights. Historically ancient Silk Road routes skirted its edges, linking oasis cities that depended on glacial meltwater from surrounding mountains. Today, modern desert highways cross its vast interior, symbolizing human resilience amid one of Asia's most formidable terrains. Standing before its endless dunes, the silence and scale of the desert evoke both humility and awe. Panjin Red Beach is one of the world's most unusual coastal wetlands, located in Liaoning Province in northeastern China. Despite its name, it is not a sandy beach, but a vast marshland covered by a unique plant called Suaeda salsa. During late summer and autumn, the plant turns a vivid crimson, transforming the wetlands into a striking red landscape. The area forms part of a protected nature reserve, supporting diverse bird life along the migratory East Asian-Australasian flyway. Wooden boardwalks allow visitors to explore sections of the marsh without disturbing the fragile ecosystem. The contrast between the red vegetation, green reeds, and blue sky creates a dramatic natural palette. As you walk above the glowing marshlands in autumn, the scene feels surreal, like a vast crimson sea stretching to the horizon. Vast, remote, and otherworldly, the Kaidam Basin stretches across the northeastern edge of the Tibetan Plateau. Located in Qinghai Province, it is one of China's largest inland basins, surrounded by towering mountain ranges. Its landscape is dominated by desert salt flats, dry lake beds, and mineral-rich terrain shaped by extreme climate conditions. Rainfall is scarce, evaporation is intense, and temperature differences between day and night can be dramatic. Beneath its arid surface lie vast reserves of salt, lithium, potassium, and other valuable resources. Despite its harshness, the basin holds a stark beauty defined by endless horizons and luminous white salt plains. Standing within this immense expanse, the silence feels profound, a reminder of nature's scale and resilience. Qiandao Lake, meaning Thousand Island Lake, is a vast freshwater reservoir in Zhejiang Province. Created in 1959, after the construction of the Shinan River Dam, the lake submerged valleys and hills, leaving behind more than 1,000 forested islands. Its exceptionally clear water is considered among the cleanest in China, supporting both drinking supply and aquatic life. The scattered islands form a scenic mosaic of green peaks rising from calm blue waters. Beneath the surface lie the preserved remains of ancient submerged towns, adding historical depth to the landscape. Today, it is a popular destination for eco-tourism, cycling, and water activities. As you gaze across the tranquil lake dotted with countless islands, the scene feels serene, expansive, and quietly timeless. Suspended high above the Zhangjiajie Grand Canyon, the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge is one of the world's longest and highest pedestrian glass bridges. Opened in 2016, it stretches approximately 430 meters across a deep gorge in Hunan Province. Its transparent glass floor allows visitors to look directly down into the canyon below, creating a thrilling experience. Designed by Israeli architect Haim Dotan, the structure combines modern engineering with the dramatic sandstone pillars of Zhangjiajie's landscape. At the time of its opening, it set multiple world records for height and span among glass-bottom bridges. Safety measures include reinforced multi-layer glass panels and controlled visitor capacity. Walking across the bridge with cliffs rising around you and a sheer drop beneath your feet, the sensation is both exhilarating and unforgettable. Elephant Trunk Hill is the iconic landmark of Gillen, rising gracefully along the Lee River. Its name comes from its natural rock formation, which resembles a giant elephant dipping its trunk into the water. Formed from cast limestone over millions of years, the hill features a circular water arch known as the Water Moon Cave. The arch and its reflection create a full moon shape on the river's surface during calm conditions. Surrounding greenery and misty karst peaks enhance the poetic beauty of the landscape. For centuries, the hill has inspired Chinese poetry and painting. Mati Temple grottoes are a remarkable complex of Buddhist caves carved into red sandstone cliffs near Zhangye in Gansu province. The site dates back more than 1,600 years, with construction beginning during the Northern Liang period. The name Mati means horse hoof, referring to a legend that a divine horse left an imprint in the rock. Dozens of grottos, meditation chambers, and towering cliff temples are connected by narrow stairways carved directly into the rock face. Murals and Buddhist statues inside the caves reflect artistic styles from different dynasties. Surrounded by mountain landscapes and grasslands, the setting blends spirituality with dramatic natural scenery. Climbing the steep passages along the cliff, with ancient carvings beside you and open valleys beyond the experience, feels both adventurous and contemplative. Longji rice terraces, resting against the layered mountains of Guangxi. The Longji rice terraces unfold like a living symphony of earth and water, patiently sculpted by human hands for over 7 centuries. Rising from about 980 to nearly 3,900 feet above sea level, The terraces cascade across more than 16,000 acres of steep slopes, first shaped during the 13th century Yuan dynasty and expanded in the Ming era. Their flowing curves resemble a dragon's backbone, shifting from mirror-like silver in spring to deep emerald in summer and radiant gold at harvest. Ingenious gravity-fed irrigation channels distribute mountain water evenly, sustaining rice cultivation without modern machinery for over 700 years. At dawn, mist drifts softly between the contours, while the scent of wet soil and young rice fills the cool mountain air. From the highest viewpoints, you witness a breathtaking union of endurance, landscape, and time. A masterpiece carved into the mountains and still alive today. Shenongjia hidden. Within the mountains of Hubei province, Shenongjia protects one of China's most intact temperate forest ecosystems, spanning nearly 1,250 square miles. Rising above 10,000 feet at Shenong Peak, the region forms one of central China's highest and most biologically rich landscapes. Over 3,700 plant species and around 600 vertebrate species thrive here, including the rare golden snub-nosed monkey found in only a few mountain ranges on Earth. Dense forests shift with altitude from evergreen valleys to subalpine meadows where mist clings to ancient trunks and cool air carries the scent of moss and rain. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 2016, it preserves a living record of plant evolution in central China. Standing among its silent peaks, you feel surrounded by primeval wilderness that seems untouched by time. China's karst sinkhole systems are among the most dramatic geological formations in the world, with Shaozhai Tiankeng being the largest known example. Located in Fengji County of Chongqing Municipality, this colossal heavenly pit plunges approximately 600 meters deep. Formed by the collapse of underground limestone caves, these sinkholes are part of vast karst landscapes shaped over millions of years. Hulunbuir grassland is one of the most expansive and well-preserved prairies in China. Located in Inner Mongolia, near the borders of Russia and Mongolia, it stretches across vast rolling plains. In summer, the grasslands turn lush green, dotted with wildflowers and grazing herds of cattle and horses. Traditional Mongolian yurts and nomadic culture remain an important part of the region's identity. Clear rivers and scattered wetlands weave through the open terrain, supporting diverse wildlife. The horizon here feels endless, with sky and earth meeting in uninterrupted lines. Standing amid the sweeping grasslands, the sense of openness and freedom is both calming and profound. Our world is far more vast and extraordinary than the human mind can truly comprehend. Towering cliffs rise like ancient guardians of time. Endless deserts stretch beyond the horizon, silent and untamed. Rivers carve their way through the earth, shaping the land with patience, measured in millions of years. Together, these forces have sculpted a planet overflowing with wonder, a living masterpiece still waiting to be explored. A glance at a map reveals diversity beyond imagination. But it is only when you stand before these breathtaking landscapes, when you feel the wind, hear the echoes of water, and witness the scale with your own eyes, that their true power becomes undeniable. It may take a lifetime to uncover every hidden treasure this planet holds. Yet some places, some moments, are so extraordinary that experiencing them just once can forever change the way you see the world. Join us on this journey as we uncover the remarkable beauty and raw power of Earth in today's documentary. Great Geysir lies within Iceland's Haukadalur geothermal valley, the very source of the English word geyser. Active for more than 10,000 years, it once shot boiling water up to 70 meters high, making it among the most powerful hot springs ever recorded. Though now largely dormant, the nearby Strokkur erupts every 5 to 10 minutes, sending steaming water about 20 to 30 meters into the air. The surrounding geothermal field bubbles with mud pots and vents, fueled by volcanic heat beneath the mid-Atlantic ridge. Sulfur lingers in the cool air, steam drifts across mossy ground, and the earth trembles softly before each burst. Standing amid rising vapor and explosive energy, you feel the living pulse of Iceland, where fire and water collide beneath the surface. Erta Ale rises from the Danakil Depression in northeastern Ethiopia, one of the hottest inhabited regions on Earth. Standing about 613 meters above sea level, it is famous for hosting one of the world's longest-lasting lava lakes. Located within the Afar Triangle, the volcano sits where three tectonic plates slowly pull apart. Temperatures in the surrounding desert often exceed 40 degrees Celsius, while molten lava churns inside the crater with relentless intensity. At night, the air smells of sulfur, heat radiates against your skin, and the glowing magma pulses like a living heart. Standing at the rim, you feel the raw breath of the planet beneath your feet, witnessing one of the most primal volcanic landscapes on Earth. Mono Lake lies east of the Sierra Nevada, a vast saline basin formed at least 760,000 years ago. Covering roughly 180 square kilometers, it is one of the oldest lakes in North America. Its waters are nearly 3 times saltier than the ocean, creating limestone tufa towers that rise like stone sculptures from the surface. In the 1980s, water diversion lowered the lake dramatically, but restoration efforts have since stabilized its level. At dawn, the air smells faintly of minerals, and the still water mirrors snow-capped peaks in pink and silver light. Standing among the tufa spires, you hear only wind and distant bird calls, sensing the fragile balance between geology, water, and time. Cappadocia rises in central Turkey like a dreamscape shaped by volcanic eruptions nearly 60 million years ago. Soft, tough rock was sculpted by wind and rain into thousands of fairy chimneys, some towering over 40 meters high. Beneath the surface, underground cities such as Derinkuyu descend about 60 meters, once sheltering up to 20,000 people. The Göreme Open Air Museum preserves rock-cut churches adorned with Byzantine frescoes dating back to the 10th century. At sunrise, more than 100 hot air balloons drift silently above the valleys, painting the sky with color and soft flame bursts. As cool morning air touches your face and the scent of dust and stone lingers, you feel suspended between Earth's ancient memory and human resilience. Huacachina emerges from the Peruvian desert like a mirage, a natural oasis surrounded by towering sand dunes. Located near Ica, this tiny village of fewer than 200 residents rests beside a lagoon believed to have therapeutic mineral waters. The dunes rise over 100 meters high, forming one of the most dramatic desert playgrounds in South America. Shaped by coastal winds over thousands of years, the golden slopes constantly shift under the desert sun. As dune buggies roar across the ridges and sand slips between your fingers, the air carries warmth and fine dust. When sunset ignites the sky in orange and crimson, the lagoon reflects the fading light, and you feel suspended between silence, speed, and shimmering heat. Jaricatin is the youngest volcano in Mexico, born suddenly in a farmer's cornfield in 1943. Within its first year, the cone surged to nearly 336 meters high, eventually reaching about 424 meters before activity ceased in 1952. Over 9 years of eruption, it buried more than 25 square kilometers of land beneath lava and ash. The lava engulfed 2 villages, leaving only the church tower of San Juan Parangaricutiro rising from hardened black rock. Today, the volcanic field smells faintly of minerals, and the rough basalt crunches under your boots as wind sweeps across the silent cone. Standing before this rare example of a volcano witnessed from birth to dormancy, you feel the raw force of Earth reshaping its own surface in real time. Meteora rises from the plains of Thessaly like a forest of stone pillars sculpted by wind and water over more than 60 million years. These sandstone towers soar nearly 400 meters above the valley, creating one of the most dramatic monastic landscapes on Earth. In the 14th century, Orthodox monks built 24 monasteries atop these cliffs, seeking isolation from wars and turmoil. Today, 6 monasteries remain active, preserving priceless Byzantine frescoes and centuries of spiritual devotion recognized by UNESCO in 1988. As morning mist wraps around the rocks and church bells echo through the canyon, the scent of wild thyme drifts in the cool mountain air. Standing on the edge of these heights, you feel the silence, the wind against your skin, and the profound harmony between faith and stone. Antelope Canyon cuts through the desert of Arizona like a living sculpture carved by flash floods over millions of years. Its flowing sandstone walls rise about 40 meters high, twisting into narrow corridors barely wide enough for 2 people to pass. Formed within Navajo sandstone and located on Navajo Nation land, it is officially divided into upper and lower sections. At midday, beams of sunlight pierce through the openings above, creating what photographers call the most iconic light shafts in the American Southwest. The air inside feels cool and smooth against your skin, while the scent of dry sand lingers in the still silence. Dettifoss crashes through the glacial canyon of Jökulsárgljúfur in northern Iceland with overwhelming force. Dropping 44 meters into a basalt gorge, it spans about 100 meters wide across the Jökulsá-Fjöllum River. With an average flow of around 193 cubic meters per second, it is often cited as the most powerful waterfall in Europe. Fed by the Vatnajökull glacier, its grey water carries fine volcanic sediment that gives the falls a thunderous, raw intensity. As you approach, the ground vibrates under your feet. Cold spray hits your face, and the roar drowns every other sound. Standing at the edge of the canyon, you feel the primal energy of ice, fire, and water colliding in one of Earth's most dramatic landscapes. Neuschwanstein Castle rises above the Bavarian Alps like a romantic vision carved from stone and mist. Commissioned by King Ludwig II of Bavaria in 1869, it was designed as a private retreat inspired by medieval legends and Wagnerian opera. Perched about 200 meters above the Hohenschwangau Valley, its white limestone towers overlook forests and alpine lakes. Inside, murals glow with mythic scenes, while outside, the scent of pine drifts through crisp mountain air. Though construction lasted 17 years, only around 15 rooms were fully completed before the king's death in 1886. Standing on Marienbrücke as clouds swirl around the spires, you feel suspended between history, fantasy, and the quiet grandeur of the Alps. Douro Valley unfolds along northern Portugal like a tapestry of terraced vineyards carved into steep hillsides. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Cultural Landscape in 2001, it is one of the oldest demarcated wine regions in the world, established in 1756. The valley stretches over 100 kilometers along the Douro River, where schist soils trap heat and nurture resilient grapevines. Here, port wine is born, aged in oak barrels before traveling downstream to Vila Nova de Gaia. In late summer, the scent of ripe grapes fills the warm air, while golden light ripples across the river's calm surface. Standing among the stone terraces at sunset, you feel the quiet harmony between human craftsmanship and the rugged beauty of the landscape. Slee Head marks the western edge of Ireland's Dingle Peninsula, where land meets the vast Atlantic horizon. Part of the famed Wild Atlantic Way, this coastal stretch is often described as one of the most scenic drives in Europe. Towering cliffs plunge nearly 100 meters into crashing waves, while the Blasket Islands lie just offshore. Archaeological remains, including early Christian beehive huts dating back over 1,000 years, dot the windswept landscape. Salt spray fills the air, seabirds cry above, and emerald grass ripples under relentless ocean winds. Standing at the cliff's edge, as the sun sinks into the Atlantic, you feel the raw beauty, history, and spirit of Ireland converge in one breathtaking view. In China, a land of ancient mountain ranges and legends spanning thousands of years, nature has created masterpieces beyond imagination. From towering granite pillars rising through seas of clouds, to sheer cliffs where human beings walk along the thin line between courage and fear. From mysterious primeval forests that still preserve the traces of the wild, to profound canyons carved by millions of years of geological transformation. This journey will take us across the most magnificent icons of China, to witness the power of nature, and to understand why, within such vastness, humanity is both small and extraordinary. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Rising from Hunan's mist-filled valleys, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park protects more than 11,900 acres of quartz sandstone pillars sculpted over 300 million years into one of the most surreal skylines on Earth. Over 3,000 vertical columns soar skyward, some exceeding 1,080 feet, their sheer faces wrapped in 95% forest coverage that glows emerald after rainfall. Morning fog drifts between the spires like a living ocean, softening sound and carrying the scent of wet pine and moss across the cliffs. The park's elevation ranges from 600 to 4,265 feet, creating shifting light, cool mountain air, and panoramic platforms that feel suspended above the clouds. Recognized as China's first national forest park in 1982, it later became part of a UNESCO Global Geopark for its rare sandstone peak forest landform. Walking along glass pathways high above the canyon, you sense both the fragility and colossal power of nature shaping stone through deep geological time. Huangxian Valley rises from the cliffs of Jiangxi like a hidden world suspended between stone and sky. Built along sheer canyon walls, its wooden houses cling to vertical rock faces, glowing at night like a river of fireflies cascading through darkness. The valley stretches across nearly 5 square kilometers, with forest coverage exceeding 90%, creating a cool, humid microclimate scented with moss and wet timber. Glass walkways and narrow bridges curve above deep ravines where mist drifts upward and softens every contour of the red sandstone cliffs. Waterfalls echo against ancient rock, and after rainfall, the entire gorge shimmers as if polished by light. More than a scenic village, Huangxian Valley stands as one of the most visually striking cliff settlements in eastern China, where architecture and geology merge into an unforgettable sensory experience.
Music licensing reimagined.
Tianmen Mountain dominates the skyline of Zhangjiajie with dramatic limestone cliffs and shifting veils of cloud. Its most iconic feature, Tianmen Cave, often called Heaven's Gate, cuts through the mountain at 131.5 meters high, 57 meters wide, and nearly 60 meters deep, forming a colossal natural arch. The 99 Bend Mountain Road coils upward like a ribbon, climbing nearly 3,500 feet and symbolizing celestial ascent in local tradition. Visitors who conquer the 999 stone steps feel the thinning air, the cool mist on their skin, and the echo of wind rushing through the vast opening. Glass skywalks cling to vertical cliffs suspended hundreds of feet above forested valleys that stretch beyond sight. Recognized as one of China's most dramatic karst landscapes, Tianmen blends geology, mythology, and altitude into a breathtaking sensory encounter. Mount Huangshan rises to 1,864 meters above sea level, where more than 70 granite peaks pierce the sky and create one of China's most visually dramatic mountain landscapes. Its jagged formations were shaped over 100 million years ago, and today, around 80% of the massif is covered by ancient pine forests clinging to vertical cliffs. The mountain is globally celebrated for its sea of clouds, a phenomenon that blankets the valleys nearly 200 days each year, transforming the peaks into floating islands. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1990, it preserves rare ecosystems and over 1,400 plant species within 154 square kilometers. At sunrise, golden light spills across cold granite ridges, while wind carries the scent of resin and mist. Standing above the cloud ocean, you feel suspended between earth and sky in one of Asia's most iconic mountain realms. Mount Sanking rises in Jiangxi province as one of China's most sacred Taoist mountains, where granite pillars surge above a shifting ocean of clouds. Covering nearly 230 square kilometers and reaching 1,817 meters at Yujing Peak, it forms a dramatic skyline shaped over 1.4 billion years of geological evolution. More than 2,300 granite formations stand like frozen waves, many resembling deities, animals, and legends carved by wind and rain. Morning mist wraps around ancient Taoist temples perched on cliffs, carrying the scent of wet stone and pine through the cool mountain air. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2008, it preserves rare ecosystems with over 2,300 plant species thriving in high-altitude silence. Standing above the cloud sea at sunrise, you witness one of Asia's most visually striking, sacred landscapes, where earth and sky seem to merge into stillness. Shenongjia Hidden. Within the mountains of Hubei province, Shenongjia protects one of China's most intact temperate forest ecosystems, spanning nearly 1,250 square miles. Rising above 10,000 feet at Shenong Peak, the region forms one of central China's highest and most biologically rich landscapes. Over 3,700 plant species and around 600 vertebrate species thrive here, including the rare golden snub-nosed monkey found in only a few mountain ranges on Earth. Dense forests shift with altitude from evergreen valleys to subalpine meadows, where mist clings to ancient trunks and cool air carries the scent of moss and rain. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 2016, it preserves a living record of plant evolution in central China. Standing among its silent peaks, you feel surrounded by primeval wilderness that seems untouched by time. Wulingyuan Scenic Area. Spanning more than 103,000 acres in northwestern Hunan, Wulingyuan Scenic Area unveils one of the most extraordinary quartz sandstone landscapes on Earth. Over 3,000 towering pillars rise dramatically from deep ravines, many exceeding 650 feet, sculpted by erosion over hundreds of millions of years. Elevations range from about 600 to 4,000 feet, creating shifting layers of cloud, cool mountain air, and panoramic viewpoints suspended above a sea of mist. Dense forests cover nearly 85% of the terrain, filling the valleys with the scent of wet earth and the echo of hidden waterfalls. In 1992, UNESCO recognized Wulingyuan as a World Heritage Site for its rare peak forest landform and exceptional biodiversity. Walking along cliffside paths, you feel the immensity of geological time etched into stone, where silence, height, and scale redefine your sense of proportion. Carved into the mountains of Hubei, Enshi Grand Canyon stretches nearly 67 miles, revealing one of China's most dramatic karst landscapes. Sheer limestone cliffs plunge over 1,000 feet into deep ravines where waterfalls echo through narrow corridors sculpted over hundreds of millions of years. Elevations range from roughly 1,600 to 6,200 feet, creating cool mountain air layered with drifting mist and the scent of damp stone. Forests cloak much of the canyon walls, softening the rugged terrain with emerald textures that contrast sharply against grey rock faces. Walking along cliffside paths and glass viewpoints, you feel suspended above a vast geological corridor where scale, silence, and vertical depth redefine the meaning of wilderness. Its most striking landmark, the one incense stick pillar, rises about 492 feet as a solitary column balanced against wind and time. Longji rice terraces. Resting against the layered mountains of Guangxi, the Longji rice terraces unfold like a living symphony of earth and water, patiently sculpted by human hands for over 7 centuries. Rising from about 980 to nearly 3,900 feet above sea level. The terraces cascade across more than 16,000 acres of steep slopes, first shaped during the 13th century Yuan dynasty and expanded in the Ming era. Their flowing curves resemble a dragon's backbone, shifting from mirror-like silver in spring to deep emerald in summer and radiant gold at harvest. Ingenious gravity-fed irrigation channels distribute mountain water evenly, sustaining rice cultivation without modern machinery for over 700 years. At dawn, mist drifts softly between the contours, while the scent of wet soil and young rice fills the cool mountain air. From the highest viewpoints, you witness a breathtaking union of endurance, landscape, and time, a masterpiece carved into the mountains and still alive today. Rising to 8,430 feet in Guizhou province, Mount Fanjing stands as one of China's most sacred Buddhist mountains and a rare geological monument shaped over 1.4 billion years. Its iconic Red Cloud's golden summit splits into twin peaks, crowned by temples linked by a narrow stone bridge, creating one of the most visually dramatic skylines in East Asia. The mountain anchors the Fanjingshan National Nature Reserve, covering nearly 219 square miles and protecting over 7,000 plant and animal species, including the endangered Guizhou golden monkey. Nearly 95% of the area remains forested, where mist drifts across ancient metamorphic cliffs, rising abruptly above a sea of clouds. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 2018, it preserves ecosystems that have evolved in isolation for millions of years. Standing on its summit, you feel wind, silence, and sky merging into a spiritual panorama unlike anywhere else. Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Rising from Hunan's mist-filled valleys, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park protects more than 11,900 acres of quartz sandstone pillars sculpted over 300 million years into one of the most surreal skylines on Earth. Over 3,000 vertical columns soar skyward, some exceeding 1,080 feet, their sheer faces wrapped in 95% forest coverage that glows emerald after rainfall. Morning fog drifts between the spires like a living ocean, softening sound and carrying the scent of wet pine and moss across the cliffs. The park's elevation ranges from 600 to 4,265 feet, creating shifting light, cool mountain air, and panoramic platforms that feel suspended above the clouds. Recognized as China's first national forest park in 1982, it later became part of a UNESCO Global Geopark for its rare sandstone peak forest landform. Walking along glass pathways high above the canyon, you sense both the fragility and colossal power of nature shaping stone through deep geological time. Furong Ancient Town, formerly known as Wangchun, stands on a cliff above a cascading waterfall in western Hunan, creating one of China's most dramatic waterfall towns. With a history of over 2,000 years, it flourished as a trading post along the ancient routes connecting Hunan and Guizhou. The town is built directly above a 60-meter-wide waterfall that plunges nearly 40 meters into the Yu River below. Traditional wooden stilt houses of the Tujia ethnic group cling to the rock face, their balconies hanging above roaring white water. Mist rises constantly, cooling the air and carrying the scent of wet timber and river spray through narrow stone lanes. Recognized as a National 4A scenic site, Furong remains one of the most visually striking ancient settlements in central China, where daily life unfolds above a living curtain of water. Pujahe Scenic Area lies in Qubei County of Yunnan, covering more than 165 square kilometers of karst peaks, caves, and freshwater lakes. Over 300 limestone hills rise abruptly from flat plains, mirrored in nearly 80 interconnected lakes that create one of the most distinctive wetland karst systems in southwest China. During summer, more than 10,000 mu of lotus flowers bloom across the water, turning the landscape into a vast pink and green tapestry. Clear streams weave between villages of the Yi and Zhuang ethnic groups, preserving traditions shaped by agriculture and water. The air carries the fragrance of lotus and damp soil, while gentle ripples lap against wooden boats. Recognized as a National 5A scenic destination, Pujahe remains one of Yunnan's most photogenic ecological landscapes, where stone towers and quiet lakes coexist in striking balance. Nanjiang Grand Canyon stretches across roughly 80 kilometers in Guizhou province, carving a deep corridor through layers of limestone shaped over hundreds of millions of years. The gorge plunges to depths of nearly 400 meters, with cliffs rising sharply above the Emerald Nanjiang River below. Covering more than 50 square kilometers of protected landscape, it shelters dense subtropical forests and rare karst formations. Seasonal waterfalls spill down vertical rock walls, especially during the summer monsoon, when water volume surges dramatically. The air feels cool and moist, carrying the scent of moss and flowing water as footsteps echo along narrow cliffside paths. Recognized as a national scenic area, Nanjiang Grand Canyon remains one of southwest China's most striking river gorges, where geological time is etched visibly into every stone layer. Tianqi Lake, known as the Heavenly Lake, rests at an altitude of about 1,910 meters in the eastern Tian Shan Mountains of Xinjiang. Covering roughly 4.9 square kilometers and reaching depths near 105 meters, its glacial waters reflect the snow-capped Bogda Peak, rising 5,445 meters above sea level. In winter, the surface freezes into a vast mirror of white silence beneath crystal skies and biting mountain winds. Recognized as a national scenic area of China, Tianqi stands as one of the most iconic alpine lakes in Central Asia, where legend and geology converge in breathtaking harmony. Mount Siguniang rising from the western edge of Sichuan, Mount Siguniang is crowned by Yaomei Peak at 6,250 meters, the highest summit of the Qionglai Range. The mountain massif stretches across nearly 200 square kilometers, with glaciers, alpine meadows, and deep valleys carved by ancient ice. Shuangqiao Valley alone extends over 34 kilometers, where turquoise streams cut through forests of spruce and fir beneath towering white summits. Thin, crystalline air carries the scent of pine resin, while wind sweeps across wildflower fields glowing under intense highland sunlight. Recognized as one of China's most dramatic alpine landscapes, Siguniang stands as a powerful contrast between fragile biodiversity and some of the most technically challenging climbing routes in Asia. The Yarlung Shangpo Grand Canyon cuts through the Himalayas of Tibet as the deepest canyon on Earth, plunging to an estimated 6,009 meters at its lowest point. Stretching roughly 504 kilometers, it follows the roaring Yarlung Shangpo River before the water turns south to become the Brahmaputra. Towering above the gorge rises Mount Namcha at 7,782 meters, creating one of the most dramatic elevation drops found anywhere on the planet. Moist monsoon air collides with icy alpine winds here, forming rare temperate rainforests that shelter more than 5,000 plant species and countless endemic wildlife. Mist coils along vertical cliffs, while the thunder of white water echoes through forests scented with moss and wet stone. Recognized by Chinese geological surveys as the deepest canyon system in the world, it stands as a raw frontier where altitude, water, and time sculpt one of Asia's most extraordinary landscapes. Zhangye-Dangxia landform. Located in Gansu province, Zhangye-Dangxia landform is widely regarded as one of the most visually striking geological landscapes in Asia. Formed over tens of millions of years, layers of red sandstone and mineral deposits create flowing bands of crimson, gold, and deep orange across the hills. Wind and erosion have sculpted the terrain into ridges, pillars, and wave-like folds that appear almost painted by hand. At sunrise and sunset, shifting light intensifies the colors, turning the mountains into one of China's most photographed natural spectacles. The area forms part of the China-Dangxia World Heritage listing recognized by UNESCO for its rare geomorphology. Standing among the rolling ridges, you feel warm desert air, see color stretching to the horizon, and witness Earth's layered history revealed in stone. Nestled in Sichuan province, Qingcheng Mountain is revered as one of the birthplaces of Taoism and among the most spiritually significant mountains in China. Rising to about 4,160 feet, its 36 peaks are wrapped in dense forest, creating a layered green horizon often described as the most serene in the region. Ancient Taoist temples, some dating back nearly 2,000 years, rest quietly among cedar and bamboo, where incense drifts through cool mountain air. The mountain forms part of the Mount Qingcheng and the Dujiangyan irrigation system, recognized by UNESCO in 2000 for its cultural and engineering significance. More than 200 scenic and cultural sites are scattered across its forested slopes, blending philosophy, architecture, and nature. Walking its stone paths, you hear rustling leaves, flowing streams, and feel a quiet balance between earth, water, and sky. Rising along China's eastern coast in Zhejiang province Yandang Mountains are celebrated as one of the most dramatic volcanic landscapes in the country. Formed over 100 million years ago during intense volcanic activity, the range displays towering rhyolitic cliffs, stone pillars, and deep gorges sculpted by erosion. Its highest summit reaches about 3,772 feet, while more than 550 scenic sites are distributed across nearly 185 square miles of protected terrain. Waterfalls cascade down sheer rock faces, and at Lingfeng Peak, shifting light transforms the cliffs into silhouettes that seem almost alive at dusk. Recognized as a national geopark and later included in the UNESCO Global Geoparks Network, the mountains preserve rare volcanic structures rarely seen so clearly elsewhere. Standing beneath the vertical stone walls, you hear rushing water echoing through the valley and feel the scale of Earth's ancient fire, frozen in rock.
Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge. This glass bridge reminds humans how small they are before nature's immense power. It spans a vast canyon in Zhangjiajie, located in China's Hunan province. The bridge features a transparent glass deck stretching over 400 meters long. Walking across it, visitors clearly feel the dizzying depth beneath their feet. Surrounding limestone peaks create emotions of fear, awe, and peaceful wonder. It was once the world's highest and longest glass bridge ever constructed. The bridge symbolizes a bold harmony between modern engineering and natural landscapes. For Chinese tourism, it stands as an icon of innovation and human courage. Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge delivers an unforgettable experience etched deeply into memory.